All right. So, man, when they asked me to come and talk about science and technology today, I started to think to myself, man, what can I actually share with all of you that you could actually use, you know? So, like last night, I actually went to the Justin Bieber movie. Anybody go see the Justin Bieber movie?
No. Heck no.
Heck no. No.
That could have been a VH1
We got
special.
any believers in here?
No.
No, sorry.
We got one over here. It's okay. You can be proud of it.
Boo. Team
No.
Leslie.
But what I actually took out of that movie, because I didn't want to go see it. My girl was like, "Oh, I want to go see the Justin Bieber movie." I don't want to put those 3D glasses on and watch Justin Bieber for 2 hours. But she convinced me to go, and one of the main themes that I got out of the film is that when you have a belief in something, it doesn't matter what that something might be. Maybe you decide you want to be an astronaut or a doctor, a lawyer, a singer, a rapper, a basketball player, an actor, actress, director. So many cool careers that you can choose. If you have a belief in something, don't stop believing, you know? And that's something that I took with me from that film. And the reason why I took that away from that film is because it's something that's really true for me. Let me give you a little background about myself. My parents are from the Caribbean islands. So, from Barbados and Trinidad. And my father was a trumpet player. And he moved to Washington, D.C. when he was about 19 years old. And he really loved my mother. And he convinced her to move over to the United States with him.
Aww.
It's a beautiful thing. Right? So they got together, and kind of unexpectedly, I showed up. So, man, we came over as just two, now we got three, right? So, my father was a musician, and so if any of you have dreams of getting into music, you know that the first few years of trying to get your career off the ground are not going to be the most financially lucrative years of your life. Now, what that means is that you'll probably be doing gigs for $200-300 a pop, or if that, if you can get it. And they were actually in the Salvation Army. Any of y'all know the Salvation Army?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, so that's how I grew up. My grandparents and my parents were in the Salvation Army. Now, my father decided, he said, "Ryan, your mother plays the piano, and I play the trumpet, and we never been able to really make any money off of that, so you're not going to do that." Because it's been tough raising a family and raising you and your sister with kind of just a dream, you know? And so I said, okay, absolutely, I understand. And the Salvation Army is set up so that you sacrifice everything in the service of others. So my parents made about, I don't know, maybe $400 or $500 a month growing up. And they raised a family of four, me and my sister. And my father said, "Look, Ryan, I'm telling you." And this was a time in America when everything on TV was about education. Education is the way to make a living and achieve the American dream. So my father said, "Look, I'm going to set it up so that my son gets a head start on everything." Now, I didn't know how serious he was until, I would finish my homework. "Dad, I'm done with my homework." He said, "Okay, well, we're about to go to the mall." "Oh, really? Oh, really awesome. I want to get some new toys." And we go to the mall and we walk right past the KB toy store. And, where we going, man? And we end up at the bookstore. He said, son, you can get any third grade workbook you want.
For sure.
I said, well, what about the Nintendo? He said, well, if you get all A's, maybe the year after next.
Maybe.
We can get you a Nintendo.
Right, emphasis on maybe.
After your uncles and cousins finish playing with theirs, we could probably get theirs for cheap. Nah, but what happened is I moved a lot. We moved a lot because the Salvation Army is actually organized like the military, right? So I was born in Washington, D.C., and then lived in Atlanta, Kentucky, Tennessee, Virginia, California, even spent a year overseas in Brussels, Belgium. And by the time I was a junior in college, I had already gone to 3 different high schools. Now, just to give you a little idea, my mom claims that by the time I was 9 months old, I had about a 60-word vocabulary. And by the time I was about 2, I was reading. And I said, well, how do you know I was reading? And she said, well, we used to read the Dr. Seuss books. And after a while, you start reading them back to us. And they said, well, we thought you were just memorizing the books. And so they actually put me into like one of these pre-kindergarten classes at the training school where they were. It was training school to be Salvation Army officers. And one of the teachers decided, oh, well, we need to test him because he's just memorizing books. And, you know what I mean, it's already pretty amazing that he's memorizing books at 2 years old. But, you know, maybe what we should do is just get him some different books. And I was reading them off. And by the time I was a junior, like I said, I had gone to 4 different high schools and we were about to move to a 5th one. Now, my parents, like I said, were very, very, very excited about me being accelerated in school. So, as often as they could, they would take me to private schools and try to get me scholarships. So I would test well and I'd get scholarships. And so, as I was about to move into my senior year of high school, we were moving actually from Daly City. I was in El Camino High School, actually. Yeah. DC. Yeah. I was actually moving from Daly City to Stockton, California. And one of the issues in Stockton is that they didn't have the classes which were the natural progression from the classes that I had been taking. So when we talked to the guidance counselor, they said, hey, what Ryan is going to have to do to finish his high school credits is go to community college. So my dad, always being the over-ambitious father that he was, he said, well, if you could go to community college, you can go to regular college. So in California, there's a test you can take, the California High School Proficiency Examination. You can test out of high school. And he said, well, you know what, we're not just going to have you go to community college. You can just apply to all the regular California schools. And he said, Ryan, what do you want to be? And I said, what is going to make my father proud? So I thought for a second, and I thought the most impressive thing I could possibly tell him that I wanted to be was a neurosurgeon. And he was so proud, he would call everybody up. Ryan wants to be a brain surgeon. Oh yeah, he's going to start applying to colleges, and I actually went through because it was so important for me to make my parents proud that I went did all my tests, all my applications and essays, and I got into the UC Riverside 7-year medical program, and I got into UC Irvine,
all
and
right.
I got into Berkeley.
Woo!
Y'all like Berkeley?
Yeah.
Cal Berkeley. Oh man. And I also, just as a long shot, I applied to 3 different private schools, non-state schools. Stanford, Harvard, and
Ivy League.
Right.
So I sent my applications in. Now, I was in Stockton, California at Bear Creek High School. Doctor! I was in Stockton, California, at Bear Creek High School, and I remember coming home. Now, when you